If you were leading a project like this, like the oral history project, what kind of questions would you want to know? Like what kind of questions would you ask, or like what would you hope to gain from a project like this?
So specifically though, like, what kind of questions would I ask who or what kind of questions would I ask as a start of this project?
Yeah. Like
Okay,
what are
so
like the big lessons you would hope to gain from a project like this, I guess?
like yeah, so like foundational questions. I think I would ask how I well, one of the questions that was asked that recently caused a lot of consternation and then discussion among our groups. We have like a Saturday group where we talk about reconciliation. And one of the questions that was asked to us was, what did we gain from slavery? and and I know that that's a question that when I heard it, there was an internal like revulsion. I was like, okay, no, slavery was an awful thing. What did we gain? And this was asked, by a fraction. And so, but it forced us to, talk about it. It forced us to say things like, okay, one, well, for me, I was like, of course, no, no, no. Slavery is horrible. I don't want to answer this question, right? Um, but but when you ask those tough questions, it forces you to, in a way, imagine the other, the opposite. And so the follow-up question was, can you imagine what the world would have been like without slavery? And, I was talking about myths and imagination. I think that if I were leading a project, what I would do is put together almost like a think tank or a thought project of, what are the things that we need to do to imagine a better future? And what are the hard questions that we need to ask ourselves to go through that process, to take us through the difficulty, to make it a part of our lived experience? Because though we are like born into the situation and history kind of grabs us, we can't let ourselves be helpless. We've got to figure out how to activate. So yeah, I don't know specifically what questions, but I think the first question I would ask is, how can we imagine a future where we are equal and where we feel equal, and that is real and honest. And as a result of that, we have real and honest connections to each other as people. And some of that might be in ownership of our lineage, but at the same time, it's also in ownership of our relationship to one another. And how do we go forward with that in a positive way? How do we strengthen our bonds in community and, in governance and in democracy together?
At this point, I have some really big questions to
Oh, that wasn't a big
conclude with.
question.
So I want to like give you a moment
hmm
to kind of transition.
Okay.
And yes, that was kind of a big question as well. But I saved the big ones for last.
Yeah.